We've created the capability to facilitate understanding how the selection of a value for a parameter for a given model node will affect beliefs for that node and any other nodes that may be of interest. So what I have on the screen here is the new section for model editor documentation. So you can read about a bunch of the details here, including which parameters are supported for which kinds of nodes, and just a little bit about how things work. Of course, I'm going to show you more about that right now. So what we're going to do right away is we're going to flop over to a little model that's in here now. I called this model leak because that is the parameter I'm going to profile. And the way this works is I'm going to do, well, you saw there, there's this interface where if I left click or using my touchpad, I just click on a node, it is selected, and the selection is indicated by this black highlighting. So if I already have a node selected, I can select another one by using a control tap or control left click. And why I'm selecting nodes here is because it's just the selected nodes that will show up in the plot for beliefs under different parameter values. Okay, so now that I've done that, I can right click on this node. This happens to be an indicating node. Well, it has a parameter I can profile, so it's actually going to make a suggestion for me. Because it's an indicating node, it's going to suggest leak. We could have chosen one of the other parameters mentioned in the documentation for indicators here, but we're going to go with leak. That's a common one we might be interested in. And I'm going to say OK, and right away, notwithstanding the fact that this is a small model, we have supported this capability by making the build BN process underlying model DNE file, underlying Bayesian network file, incremental and fast. So that should be a benefit to you when you start working with larger models, say the Carbon National Security model, where you might want to have a few nodes up from a specific area in the model. You might want to have a few summary nodes up from the top of the model and select all those, and then run an analysis like this. It will be nice for you when that doesn't take a huge amount of time. Anyway, so here we are with just our two node model. We have our two nodes and we have their beliefs plotted, and so these are the ranges, the range of beliefs we see for these values of leak. So we've just plotted 9 values by default. That's the way the software is defined. It plots 9 values. Starts off from 0.1 to 0.9. Turns out that 0 to 1, at least sometimes without including 0 and 1 values themselves, that's the range for all the parameters that this interface will profile. So here we are, and we have these beliefs. Now we can do a few things with these. Well, we have various controls. We have some buttons. We can do a mouse over to see exactly what a value is. These all look pretty straightforward, but you can see how that works. So what do these buttons down here do? Well, with the y-axis, I can flip between beliefs and the log 2 of the odds ratio. So that may not be the most natural interface here. I think it will be for other strengths when we look at those. So let's go back to straight beliefs. I can dismiss this whole plot if I want to, just make it go away, and then I can come back here and I can say, well, let's do it again, folks. Now it's not obvious. So this plot is down at the bottom, below your canvas, and if I drag the canvas, then you're going to start seeing these nodes that you have selected. May not always be room to show both at once, but for what it's worth, you can do that. So I've shown you how you can dismiss something. Another thing I can do is I can click a point to do one of these actions. So I can actually pick a point and choose a value to use for the leak in my model, and then this interface will go ahead and edit the model to use that value. So let's say let's make this leak 0.1, and I can click on either one of these points as long as it's the right x value. That's all that matters here, because x is the value for the leak. Okay, so by default, clicking one of these points will choose x, and that's what I'm going to do. And it goes, well, do you want to set the leak value to 0.1? Yeah, that's what I want to do. Okay. Well, you don't see any change there. It actually turns out the leak value was already 0.1. So let's make it a little more interesting. We'll do this again. And oh, I forgot to select the other node. So let's just dismiss that so we can see both our nodes here. All right. Oh my gosh. Profile parameter. Leak. Okay, there they are. Now these other two buttons here, suppose I want to see what's going on, you know, say in this range here below 0.2. What's going on between 0.45 and 0.5? So to check that out, I can click the Refine X button, which is, at least in Chrome, going to stay lit up here for a little bit. And now when I click on this point, it's going to say, oh, well, you want to look at the range below 0.2. So what does that look like? And I still haven't figured out why it expands the graph to full size at this point, but I don't think that's really an issue. So at any rate, it shows us the range from 0.1 to 0.2, and it says, yeah, you got a bump in there. And that's actually something that we're looking at, affording an alternative interface to this parameter. More about that later. Something that will be perhaps a little more natural, a little more intuitive, a little less apparently anomalous. Okay, so if I want to select the value at this point, I can say choose X. All right, so let's say maybe I like this thing up here. I don't really know whether that's the maximum or not. Let's see, that's 0.125. I guess I could search to the right and to the left of that. So if I look, so that's 0.5625. So if I look to the left to start with, okay, that all goes down. What about looking to the right of this guy? And now this is going to ask me to enter a value, since this is the end of the range, and at least some of the time for some parameters 1 is not an appropriate value. So what we're going to do is we're just going to specify, let's see, we're at 0.125, so let's try, we'll go up to 0.130. 0.130, we'll do that. And looks like it goes down. So I mean, it looks like, at least at the granularity we're checking, this 0.125 is the maximum belief we're going to see for this node, indicating so with that 0.125 leak value, that'll give us the maximum belief in that node. All right. So that's basically it. Now so if I like that 0.125. And I want to choose it, again I have to click on choose X. Sorry for my taskbar showing up there. I have a meeting. And so let's see. So now I'm going to say we're going to choose that value. When I click on it, it's going to say, you really mean that? I'll say yes. And there we are. We've changed the leak. Now it's 0.125. And beliefs are a little different as we noticed. Okay, that's it. See you next time.